place on Upper Alpine Drive. I did on Dundee Road before.
Maybe I saw you going up and down the road.
Oh yeah,
Upper
it's like,
Alpine.
well, it's like we, yeah,
Yeah.
running like food trays down high road to get to work, and hiking through the woods to get back home.
I lived, my first place here was above Flossie's.
Really?
Yeah, there's an apartment there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
How was
Yeah.
that?
It was great. Yeah, it's fine.
It must have been loud during the day.
Surprisingly not. I guess I was also not there often during the day.
Wow.
But
Yeah, getting to crash at that Iron Mountain house. That was.
Oh yeah.
That's like a.
Before that
That's
burned
like a
down.
foggy memory.
Before it got burned down.
Yeah, like going. Just remember like walking up that set of stairs to that like porch and like walking in and you're like, what? You can stay here?
That's where the Red Fox was there.
no.
Yeah, that was just the annex too.
It's what?
That was the annex to the real.
Oh, really?
Just like the village house is the annex to the Hawthorne. There was a bigger hotel. The village house was just like the annex to it.
Maybe you can.
All right, well, we'll get started. Review the October minutes.
Mike, can I ask you, is that the way you spell your name?
Probably not. I've never looked. No. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Consonants matter. If I gave it a shot, it would be Dufhilo.
Close.
What is it?
Dufilho.
Good grief. That's gonna take this long.
It's a strong Portuguese.
This way, if you ever get sued, they'll have the right to spell it.
Well, I figured this way if I do anything wrong, I'd be like, that's not me. You can check the minutes, that's not me.
I'm making sure you have accountability.
It's the
I was making sure
I
I
knew
was
it didn't look right. I knew it didn't look right.
autocorrect.
I'm not concerned. I've lived a lifetime of
Purity and.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more concerned about taking Ken's seat. I have a higher concern of that than my name.
Well, yeah, I'd be a little concerned.
It's like in
about that.
school where you all went to the same seat all the time, right?
Last month I came in here and sat here and everyone was like, what are you doing? Why are you sitting there?
We should play musical chairs sometime. Mix it up.
We're just reviewing minutes, so
I really want to know what happened with hydrology and headwaters and hydrology.
we can get to it.
So that was the only thing I saw.
Yes, and I'd like the minutes to be corrected for the past 10 years.
Sometimes they were right.
No problem.
That is a little annoying because it comes up in the email correctly, but it always auto-corrects it.
Oh, I hate, are you in Windows 11 now?
No, but
All right.
Oh, you're in that one.
Thanks.
I'm really not concerned.
So like I said, that was the only thing that.
well, slow and steady catching up. Do you have any comments on minutes?
No,
Look through
I
it?
wouldn't know.
other comments or move to motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Thank you. Prospect Farm, any further?
Yeah, I spoke with Michael Cormier. I just gave him a heads up that we're gonna be able to allocate $10,000 to be used over 2 to 3 years. He thought that was a good number, probably get close to 3 years out of that, including, bringing some amendments up to the trees, like liming some of them and just pruning. And he said one way to stretch the funds, if we or anybody was able to come up once there's a fair amount of limb debris that's been dropped, if just assistance in pulling that away, or however we choose to deal with it, because that's his time is best used in trees. So if there's ever a time, we could schedule something with him. We could have kids could come up from school possibly. We could do like we did a couple of years ago, where we had the kids come up and watch trees get pruned, and they can learn a few things about apples and orchards and pull some brush. And Michael's he's a really nice, wise forester. So.
Do you know what time? I'm assuming winter.
Yeah, it's through the winter.
Yeah.
Really just gonna fit it in during schedules and how to use his time, to be most efficient. So I'm sure if we wanted to try to nail down a date so that the kids could schedule through school, we could do that with him. I'm gonna talk to him again this week, so I'll mention that to him. I think he'll be excited.
Yeah, I'll ask the school, and I think it was pretty fun when there was still skiable snow.
Yeah.
For them to ski down.
Yeah.
I think they had that.
Yeah, and they'd enjoy him. He's a good old Yankee.
Yeah, all right. Great, now we have to figure out how to pay for this.
And how he wants us to, how do we want him to write this up as well, as some sort of because right now we're pretty open-ended. I mean, I think he's comfortable, but maybe as a board, beyond the email that he sent me with just kind of a scope. We can really ask anything.
Yeah, so I guess we're not needing to come up with 10,000 this year.
No, it's spread it over 3 years.
Yeah, so I guess we can say.
Could he write a small proposal,
Mm-hmm.
just like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then that way we'd have a way to think about allocating funds, whether that's we're going to put $5,000 because that's the first year is the main whatever. I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Does it all come out of the Baker Fund, or does it come from other areas?
Well, I guess if we can break it up over several years, then it makes sense to do it out of the Baker Fund, because that's what it's for. Right. That would fall well within what it's designated for, and yeah, so I'll find out on that balance and what we can do per year, if we need to ask for more money from that. I guess we'll get to that planning board situation or committee.
But I don't even think it would be necessary to go to the planning board, because if you just said, we'll bump our budget $5,000 a year for the next 3 years for tree pruning, which we've had a proposal.
Okay, so
I
so
would bring that right to town meeting.
town meeting or in the selectmen's budget meeting?
Well, it would eventually go to the town meeting,
Right,
but yes, in the budget.
okay.
Well, I think we may get a question that would come back, is the Baker Fund does exist for this kind of purpose, so why aren't you spending the money from the
Mhm.
Baker Fund?
And I don't know what it generates a year, the Baker Fund,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to deplete it, but you certainly could use it.
Is there a town report here? Because that would tell it properly.
it's over there somewhere. I think it's on the shelf up there.
Well, you moved here. I thought there was. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried looking for that last time, I couldn't find the number, but,
I'll keep going and I'll just look, yeah.
yeah.
Is the Baker Fund the one that we can only spend the interest off of? Is that the?
They're all like that.
Okay.
Um,
But we haven't spent on a Baker Fund for a while.
Yeah, the one that we, is the Wentworth Wildcat Fund for Jackson Falls. And that is actually quite a small amount of capital, it's only 10,000
That's all that's in
is the
the.
principal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if there are years where nothing was spent out of it and it got rolled into it, but we'll touch on it when we get to
But it's
Jackson.
also, it's good to go to the town meeting and say, you know, we're getting add this from the Baker Fund, and this is the,
Yeah, this is beyond our standard.
it shows good intent.
Yeah, okay, well, I will,
In the Baker Fund, there is almost 69,000.
So that should generate some amount of money.
Does it say what the principal is though?
I don't know whether that's restricted the same way as the Jackson Falls. I'm not sure that it is. I
I
mean,
don't think it is.
No?
you don't think so? I don't think so either, but I'm not gonna say that's for certain.
okay, well, I'll follow up with Julie, we've been talking
Well, the
about
Baker Fund's been in place
much longer.
much longer.
I think the thing with the Jackson one is it can't go below a certain number, like 10 or 12,000. Wentworth Wildcat has got 13,400 in it right now. And
As
that-
a,
as the balance.
because I
At
think
the
we've,
beginning of the year, let me just-
we've spent some out of that this year, so.
yeah, let me,
Well, that, I guess that is good, we can just continue moving forward on that and.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll even pull more than 3,500. So if we, maybe we're wise, shoot for 5 this year just to, if it's a big year. But he's really going after kind of like, in his mind, you know, we're looking at its phases, and it's not so much for him. It would take him, it's gonna take him a while to get through all the trees, first phase.
Oh, gotcha. Like for him, 3 years might be phase one.
Well, I think there's other things that are being done while that's being done, but getting through the first phase is the heavy one.
Is the biggest.
Right.
yeah, I think the idea of basically having him give us something we can sign as a contract, which is X amount of year one, whether it's 5,000 and then 2,500 for the next 2 years, or whatever he thinks is the right way to do it. And then that way, we know and we can program as we move forward.
Right.
And my guess is we can take it, you know, based on these numbers, my guess is probably can be funded out of the Baker Fund without going to the town. But double check just to make sure there's no restrictions in it.
Okay. Excellent. Keep on moving forward on that. And so he would be starting working that in 26 or,
Well, You never know, it could be December, you know, once it's cold. But I would assume 2026, unless there's a reason for us to pull that money out in 2025 calendar year thing.
I will see.
Yeah.
You just have to coordinate with ski touring, if what's he gonna snowmobile up or?
Yep, snowmobile, ski, snowshoe, but he has a snowmobile with a trailer.
But he can coordinate with Jackson, so,
Mhm.
yeah. Cause you don't want him snowmobiling up and back. Same day, you get a bunch of people skiing up and down, just
Mhm.
for safety reasons, cause a lot of people, as you know, ski up and that's a steep hill coming down off of.
Okay, great. So I had a brief conversation with Sean Sweeney from Headwaters, which is it's Headwaters Consulting now. It's not, so he was hopefully trying to get something for this meeting today, but he wasn't able to get a full formal proposal, but he has sort of broken it down into what he would like to do for the scope, which will be a topographic survey surveying the downstream bank segment erosion along the west side bank of Wildcat Brook is described in the 2018 report, including the footpath, roadway embankment, and adjacent areas. Then you will form, with the raw survey data, a base plan of the project in AutoCAD, and then a conceptual bank stabilization plan using that data and based off of the information from 2018, and then preparing a cost estimate for the bank stabilization plan to include construction costs, design costs, and wetlands permitting. And for those breakout tasks, he is an estimate of $6,860. And depending on how soon we get snow, you may not be able to complete that before the end of December, so it's kind of dependent on that. So if you want to look at that.
So I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, so what were you were asking him to come up with something that was more hardscape, is that the idea?
More hardscape, and just so that we can have a better idea of the costs, because we've kind of hit all of the low-hanging fruit there, and anything that we do is going to require a lot more investment. So to get a better understanding of the full costs of further replanting, like larger scale plantings that would need to be done, and then just looking at any hardening that would need to be done. So, and I think it was the moving forward from that 2018 plan and kind of just implementing some of the more intensive, cost intensive things. And outside of that, those are the stakes,
Mistakes,
so we can get
put
those.
those in maybe this weekend.
Mhm.
You know, you might wanna wait on those because the use of the falls right now is pretty I mean, it's really declining quickly. If you did happen to have a flood event or something, you know,
Yeah.
between now and
I think
early spring again next year, I might almost suggest just hold off and let's put them in next spring.
Well, is that a question of pulling what we have down there? 'Cause we had kind of allocated those for up near the porta potty, so
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
Because
there's
they're gonna pull a porta potty pretty soon, I think, aren't they? Yeah.
yeah, but just in that area where there'll still be traffic there. I
Yeah,
guess as
yeah.
soon as the ground's frozen, it's not as.
Yeah.
an issue, but, I mean, do you think it would be worth pulling what we have?
Well, what we have out there now is
I mean,
pretty minimal and pretty inexpensive, so I wouldn't put the time into probably pulling it, but, it's just a thought.
I don't know that there's much flooding that would occur up in that area, that's all I'm thinking. Just be nice to give that area a head start,
And go ahead and do it.
otherwise we
Yeah.
have to store those.
yeah.
I think he can do his work with what he has there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking in the price range for what we're asking him. I think that was, he wanted to make sure before he started that we were on the same page as what, he didn't want to give us the same sort of product that he did last time. And I was like, yes, we're definitely looking
For something more.
something to kind of drive like decision costs or costs to make a decision to kind of focus us, I
Right,
guess.
so this would provide us with a plan plus a cost.
To take to town meeting,
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah.
And it's the next steps,
Yeah,
you know, it's like the next steps, and things have changed up there, so.
So, looking at the price of that now, that makes me think, okay, that will far exceeds what we're capable of paying out of the Wentworth Fund.
mhm,
That will max our budget out, but we also have money market funds available to us. And so I guess, Dick, what is the best way to structure this, or of how we would pay for this, or asking like, well, this exceeds our current capabilities, but we have money market funds that we have available to us to spend out of, so.
Yeah. I would go right to the office and say, how would you structure it?
Okay.
But, yeah, I think what you do is take what you could out of the Jackson Falls legitimately,
Yeah.
and then the residual would come out of the money market.
Yeah,
Okay.
wasn't there a group Save the Falls too? Did they fundraise?
I don't know if they actually did collect funds.
Interesting.
Yeah, so our,
This one.
we have like 1,200 left in the operating budget, and $2,900 approximately in the income of the Wildcat Fund, so.
Right, like half the cost.
And I was trying to figure out what the calendar year that is tracked in the fiscal year for the trustees of the trust funds. I haven't found that out yet.
Right.
Let's see, the town's budget is, what's the calendar year for the town budget, do you remember, Dick?
I used to.
Is it on
I
here?
thought it was like March. I think.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I think it's March.
That means, number one is we want to pull it from the Jackson Fund, because that's what it's made for.
Mhm.
And then number two is to take it from our annual. But then it's a question of how much of that annual do we think we need for other purposes before
Yeah.
the end of this fiscal year. And then the remnant would come out of the money market. So that would push us back to the residual that we have in our annual budget. How much of it do we think we want to preserve for other purposes, whatever they may be?
Yeah, so the only, I guess, complication on that is that Julie says that anything that comes out of the trust funds will need invoices by the 30th of this month, so. That was the one thing I couldn't quite clarify if that was a fiscal year thing or just an end of the year thing, but, or,
Yeah, it cuts off in January, so there's this kind of area where nothing new can happen. But if we get it in before, then you can spend that money in that January to March cycle. But they want to see, they want to have the
big
receipts.
invoice.
Or
Okay.
invoices, right. Sorry.
Okay. So I guess if, to move forward with that, if we're all comfortable.
Well, I'll make a motion just for the record here that we proceed with the quote that we got from Headwaters, with the first component of it coming out of the maximum that's permitted out of the Wildcat Trust Fund. Then, why don't we say $1,000 out of our annual? That would still give us a residual of $700 for whatever we need, if we think that's appropriate.
Well, we've got some posts, didn't we order some?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those will be coming out of
Jackson?
the Wentworth Wildcat one, that's,
Yeah.
and,
Well, we don't need the exact numbers right now, and then the residual.
But there'll be enough in the residual
Yeah.
to handle that, and I don't think we have any other expenses except the pizza party.
And then the residual will come out of the money market. So that's my motion.
okay.
I'll second that.
I'm only voting for it if the motion is pizza party.
Pizza party. Yeah, very small, sad pizza party. So motion, was there any other discussion on that,
I may be angry too.
other than the pizza writer?
I do think it's a good idea to have a pizza party. I'm very pro pizza party.
Anything else? All right,
You need a vote.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And I guess aside from putting those stakes up, I don't have anything else for Jackson Falls for now. Anyone else? Grazing.
Sometime this month, I'm gonna walk the Mystery House Loop again with Ellen, or perhaps whoever from ski touring that's looking to maintain the view sheds.
Mm-hmm.
So we had talked about November as being the time to do that, and I haven't emailed yet to set up a date, but we had talked about some, so it'll be sometime this month.
Okay.
Probably not next weekend.
Okay. Great.
You know, a lot of the trails up there have been signed again.
I saw that they had a volunteer, I met him, and I can't think of his name now, but he was up there, and he's like, they put a ton of signs up there. Like the signage now, so I don't know if you've been up there.
No.
The signage is like,
When did that happen?
jeez, what was that?
I guess I was up a month ago.
Oh, no, it was like,
Yeah, I haven't been.
I was gonna say, no, I mean, it was before that.
I was up there like a week ago.
Oh, so you're saying it's more recent than a month ago?
Yeah, it's within the last month for sure, because I was
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he had been signing like all the,
Stuff
Nesselnick.
Nesselnick?
yeah, he'd been
yeah.
putting like all the Nesselnick ones,
Okay.
he'd putting signs on.
There's a lot of Wigglesworth and that goes on to,
Yeah.
not only Wentworth, but it goes on to other. So
Yeah.
once you go past the glacial rock barrier,
Yeah.
I don't think that's Wentworth, I mean, Nesselnick's, I don't know
No.
who's it is, I don't think it's
Yeah,
counted.
No, I think you get into the old, no, it's forget space in
You
it.
can look it up, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so and it's just brings back the total cost on those with the shipping was 551 for the steaks.
So if we had 1,700 and we took out basically 600, that gives us 1,100 left. So I think we want to take less than 1,000 out, because you want some residual in case we need it for something else between now and March. So let me offer a second motion that, based on the first motion, that we take 500 out of our annual budget, not 1,000.
So it looks like 600-ish in there.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Hold on 1 second, let me make sure I get all this.
So it's the maximum out of the Wildcat, plus 500 out of our annual budget, and the residual out of the money market.
And we're still talking about the payment for the research on the
The head
falls.
water screen out. But based on the cost of this, I want to leave yourself some. So we got a first and a second, so.
Okay.
You need discussion and a vote on the change.
So I just want to make sure I have this. So the max out of the Wildcat, not so minus the 551.
Oh, wait a minute, this is coming out of Wildcat, correct? Oh, okay. Let me withdraw that motion. Yeah, the maximum out of Wildcat. Then the original motion stands as was.
Okay.
I apologize, I got confused, I was throwing it in right there.
Because what I had originally, so
Yeah, I'm sorry,
okay. I just
my bad.
no, that's. Nothing for community garden.
Only that I cannot get the hose disconnected. It's underneath the fence and it's connected to whoever goes into the box there. I don't know if anybody has a chance to go out there. I actually tried pliers, I couldn't get it off.
I'll take a look after the
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, thank you. Because I want to put it in the box. I can't. It's like a 25-foot hose and I cannot get it off.
I'll see if we can
Oh, thank you.
make them.
With his vice-like grip.
Some vice grips.
I still have my pliers in my range.
Okay, I don't have anything for the Wildcat. Other than, have you done any, like, I think I need a better system to get the bacteria testing, like, set up and ready to go beforehand, because that just kind of caught me flat-footed, and it was gonna be a lot more effort to arrange. Like, do you have experience with a lab that be recommended, or?
You mean, well, it's the place in town, isn't there?
In researching that, I was gonna have to drive it all the way to Concord anyways.
Because you were doing it on a Friday.
There was just enough friction in the interaction where it didn't follow through, and I didn't get a good timely response from them, so. I don't know if there's better options, or if,
Could always mail it to the state. That's what I
No,
was
it
doing
has to
with
be
my water.
sampled, you have to run the test for it. I used to run these tests for AMC, but you gotta do the test within like 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
so you have to overnight the test
Correct.
to the state. That's what I've always done with my water samples.
alright, well, I will keep that in mind, just because that is the
And you
one.
have to keep them cool. But that's not hard to put a coal pack in with it.
Yeah. So I'll,
I would just check and see what it costs to overnight something,
okay.
because it's not worth your time to drive down and back.
Mm,
It's far cheaper to overnight it,
right.
nor should you be asked to do that.
But I did do all of the data entry for it, so they'll be generating a report out of that that we'll see soon. And now that I have mastered the dissolved oxygen sensor, it's the pH meter that I'm most interested, because I am kind of in something that you had mentioned a couple of meetings ago. Having access to that data as a long-term like climate change, or just
No, I think the change you're gonna see without going through all the chemistry is because of the changes that were brought about with the Clean Air Act, the acidic input now is less than it was like in the 80s and 90s. You're still gonna be on the acidic side. I'd be flabbergasted if you weren't, just because naturally, but I can go over that chemistry with you afterwards, yeah.
It's not so much that, it's the, well, if things are, if we're seeing a lot of, if those environmental regulations are rolling back, then it's good that we have.
There is
sort
some serious danger out there now, yes.
Right.
But
So just like,
yeah,
we're ahead of that in gathering information that we can look at, well, it's been like this, and so
Right.
I'm convinced that it's worthwhile
Yeah,
to
so
spend
there's
my
Posting
Yeah.
one
regulation.
Saturday
there's, yeah,
a month to do that, so.
there's a lot of, I mean, AMC is still continuing, because I was involved in setting up their program, but we've been measuring it since the early 80s. We saw a pretty dramatic change in the chemistry and precip input, and not only AMC, but Everbrook and the rest, post the Clean Air Act amendments. There are threats because Trump is pushing to have coal burning and all that stuff come back. But quite frankly, I don't think you're gonna see a lot of it come back because it's not competitive in the market. That's what knocked it out.
Yeah.
But they'd probably say it wasn't competitive because all the clean scrubbers they had to put on it.
Well, that plus natural gas, fracking came in 2000, around 2000, and fracking just flattened coal, bingo. Of course, now you still have the problem because it's cleaner than coal, but it's not clean, yeah.
Well,
But there's a lot, relative to climatic change, et cetera, there's so much higher quality sampling that's going on, like at Hubbard Brook and AMC's and a bunch of other, and it's much more frequent sampling than spot sampling. You'd have to have some pretty dramatic changes for spot sampling like what you're doing to show that up.
it's all part of the snowball.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at? Monitoring visits. I have mine scheduled, and I've been getting urges to have them filed before the end of December, so before they have their, get locked out of the computer.
Online gets locked out.
That said, they still will accept the paper reports, so.
I remember that one.
I did the pepper side. It was pretty straightforward.
And you filed the.
I filed it, yeah.
and-
I didn't go back to check to see whether
But none of,
they were followed it, but
none of the same issues that you were having last year, okay, good.
I'll go back and just double check that it got through, but it appeared to go pretty smooth.
Okay.
And it's under your name because you were the chair that,
Yeah,
yeah. So don't get confused when that happens.
yeah, it's pretty well broken up with the, property name. The only thing for wetlands I have is that the restoration plan was approved for the kind of dumping issue they had on Town Hall Road. That just like everything that was there needs to be removed and then revegetated and monitored. So.
And that's under,
The only thing I have for the Dundee Community Forest, which I was not able to attend, but they had a walkthrough on last Sunday to look at trails. Did anyone happen to?
No, I meant to go and then I did not. But I know that, yeah, they've flagged the potential trail. And I'm hoping to get out there at some point this week, just to walk it.
I was gonna do the same thing, but I could make this thing. It's about tweaking, it's not about.
You did walk part of it, or?
Yes, I walked part of it, till I got to a little brook that was dry. So, because I know when you go further, you're just under trees and it just kind of meanders around. So, I wanted to do the other way, but I realized the ticks are out and I need to spray that first.
So like the
They're on
bugs were
serious
that?
right now.
They're what, they're serious?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
I picked up a number of
Yeah, so I'm like, spray up and then go out.
deer ticks.
Yeah.
yeah,
I've heard people say this is the worst fall in years for deer ticks.
Yeah.
I haven't found any on me, which terrifies me. I'm outside every day. I haven't found any, which means I feel like I'm not looking. But I've heard a number of people say this has been like
really?
the year that people are finding like 3 and 4 on them.
Even this dry?
Yeah.
I had 10 on me. I all weekend I was picking them off.
Deer tick,
Yeah.
not
And
just the limb
nymphs,
stage.
and nymphs.
Limb stage.
Deer ticks are more active in the fall. I was picking up a lot of dog ticks in the spring, early summer, but
Yeah.
now it's deer ticks, yeah.
Gonna go home and check right now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you then when you picked up 10?
Well,
Tell us exactly, but.
Just in my yard.
no, it was at the conference we went to. Walk around in the woods looking for mushrooms and then.
Tuck your pants in your socks.
Oh,
I didn't know if it was there, but I was down in the dirt, and then I went and looked at some old farm foundations out in the middle of nowhere, and I got back in the car and there was 10 on my pants, and then like for the next 2 days,
And they're
just
tiny.
Yeah.
And last year I got one stuck on behind my knee on November 15th. November 15th. I had to get doxycycline because my knee actually started to hurt before I found it.
Well, your first 24 to 36 hours, you're safe.
Yeah. It was that time because I was out.
No, they'll be active right into December.
But they dig in. Hard to get out.
yeah.
Get the little tick scoop.
Oh, I saw them.
Yeah, a little spoon.
Yeah,
Oh,
just,
those are
pick up
fantastic.
where do you get
yeah.
that from? It's what?
Just take up smoking.
the worst way to do it.
I don't know where we got ours. I think we got ours from like Fish and Game or something.
They had a bunch, they used it at the post office, that's
Yeah.
where I got mine, but they're really
Just like
efficient.
that thing with a slit in the book, right?
Yeah, it's a little slit, it's a white bowl, so
Yeah.
just pluck them out and you can.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think there's going to try to be a Dundee meeting in December. But I think we'll get notice of that before our next meeting, so.
Well, the forester is doing, if I recall correctly, was hoping to get a lot of that work done by, and then I think our meeting was gonna be scheduled after he put his
Yeah.
report in, is my recollection.
Yeah, so that, I think that final one is up in the air.
Yeah.
New business, I think we kind of touched on the budget balance, and we will exhaust all of our balance this year, so we don't need to do anything about that. Mike, you had requested.
Yes. I just had a few people in the community, a couple people in the community had inquired about an interest in creating like a gear lending library. They had
Gear or
like gear, like outdoor gear, like recreational gear. So
not like
not like a hammer, but like a mountain bike. The idea behind it being, you know, try to eliminate hurdles to get people outside. I think the 3 people that had brought it to me were thinking specifically of youth. And I said that there is precedent for that kind of thing. Like I know like some places, like it's at the county level, like Leadville, Colorado has a county run gear lending library. Some of them are nonprofit. I think there's one in like Littleton or Franconia that's like a nonprofit one, and then like some like Brunswick, Maine has like the actual library itself, so it's municipal, has it. And I basically just said, they said, well, is this something that the town would be interested in doing? And I said, I don't know, but I would be happy to bring it up at a meeting. And I said that this is the time of year when we start to think about like big projects and what we want to work on next year. I did tell them I felt like, given the demographics of Jackson, you know, if it was something they really wanted to do, having more of a valley-wide would capture a more diverse socioeconomic population and would be more likely to get funding, that sort of thing. You know, it's the kind of thing that's like, I think it's a cool idea, but it's all about time and money and that sort of thing.
Would it be something you do with the high school or something like that, where they've got the trails or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea behind it was essentially like a library, but you can get gear. So it's like, oh, I want to take my kids and try out. Well, cross country skiing is a bad example because there's the nonprofit here that services everyone in town. But you know, I want to try this thing, fly fishing. We want to try go fly fishing, or we want to try biking, or we want to try this thing, hiking. And so, you know, you have this resource you can go to and you can check out backpacks, hiking boots, like that sort of thing. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it takes a motivated group of people to make it happen. It can just be something, you know, like we don't need to just like do anything more than just think about it, right? Like, is this something we think the town needs, wants, desires, would be useful? I think it's a really cool idea. The advantage of having it in Jackson is that it's small. The disadvantage is what I outlined earlier. I think you'd have much more success with like a bigger service area, and you have a bigger clientele of people that would have those needs.
So what if you talk to other local towns and did like a cooperative or something?
Yeah.
You're talking about organizing something like ESSC, that scale.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just spitballing ideas, I think is what I'm doing right now. But yeah, it's something along those lines. And that's kind of like what I was getting at earlier, is that there are kind of these different organizations that kind of do a lot of that. You know, for downhill skiing, you got ESSC, which does a tremendous job in getting kids outside and reducing those barriers.
Would it be a youth focused or just, because that's where I think like the more like, that's a big investment.
Yes.
To cover a lot of things if it's just Jackson.
It's broad too.
Yeah. I don't think it would work for just Jackson.
Well, I guess.
Plus, I don't think Jackson would want to run it unless you have, and if you're thinking of volunteers, I don't think that's going to work because you can't get volunteers to run a dump store.
Yeah.
You know, which is everybody, oh, we need that.
Yeah.
But nobody will do it. So, I don't know. I think your idea of a bigger base is correct.
So maybe the town like Conway, which already has a Parks and Recreation department.
Well, that's the kind of thing where Parks and Rec can like.
Well, I would suggest that, you know, question number one, is this something that the Conservation Commission is charged to do and should do? And my answer to that would be no.
Well, we're not gonna do it, I think you're just.
I think it's a great idea, but I don't think
Bringing the
the
idea
Conservation
out.
Commission, I think Dick is 100% right, is if the Conservation Commission says, yes, it's like a community garden, now all of a sudden somebody here has got to, it's gonna be backed up with people who are gonna really put in the time and energy, and that's not an insignificant amount of time and energy, to say the least, because you're fundraising.
Well, you
But
have
if
to
you're gonna
find a
get fly
place
rods and da-da-da-da-da,
where you're gonna store this stuff.
yeah, exactly. So
Are you in competition with local business?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think the other piece is, I think if you broke down the list of the different sports, whatever they might be, there's so many groups and clubs within that already do that. If you
Mhm.
contact them, like, Mount Washington Valley Soccer Club, it's like, oh, my kid can't afford this. It's like, oh,
Right.
just contact us, IME, trying to get into climbing, so there is that. I don't know
Great
how
plan.
someone pulls that all together. There's the mountain biking coalition for getting kids helmets and making sure their bikes are safe. There's all these little groups,
Yeah.
but it would be cool if they could kind of come together and you just, went to one site, you're like, oh, look at this is what's available.
And maybe that's the more the useful thing is coalescing those resources.
Yeah, between the different,
Yeah.
Well, I know because I was involved in with the Mount Washington Nordic Club, which is different than Jackson Ski Touring. We raised a lot of money. We paid for like Sean Doherty's early training before he was Olympic caliber. We paid for half the price of the high school kids, roller skis and all that sort of stuff, so that there were no barriers. But believe me, it's a lot of time and effort.
That Nordic Club paid for our race fees for the Jackson Middle School team last
Oh,
year. I didn't even know that club existed until I went
Well,
into
the residual
building it.
cash that we still had in it
Yeah.
is what did that, yes.
Yeah.
But I think get back and say we think it's a great idea, but we really, it's not the Conservation Commission, because that's, we would be supportive of the concept verbally,
Mhm.
but we would not be involved in trying to set up and run it.
Yeah, and I would agree with all of that.
So,
I-
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think the one thing, and I don't know what you think about this, do you think that if they were to move forward, do you think the town would be agreeable in finding space somewhere?
That's a selectman's
That's a
question.
selectman's question.
got the old fire station.
Braze in, the garage.
Well, I think a group that wants to do this would have to start to put together what they need for space, et cetera. I think you got the cart way before the horse if you're starting to try to figure out where you're gonna put this stuff, and
Yeah.
you don't even know what you're gonna put in there yet, and who's gonna run it.
I mostly think that they're just kind of putting out feelers.
Okay. Well, my fundamental misunderstanding of the ask was that Bartlett's Conservation Commission has a tool lending library.
Oh, like,
So if you don't want to buy a bar or reed bar for pulling up,
Invasive species.
Yeah.
those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be more aligned to what we're doing,
yeah,
but similar concept.
yeah.
I think we have the answer. But
All right.
Yeah.
Our 2026 dues for the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions are due soon. It's $250.
so moved.
I'll second that.
No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
Was it supper time?
I need to bring my wife someplace.
Yeah. I'm going to be working on the year-end report. If anyone has anything they want to input, let me know.
Thanks for doing that, Ben.
Jeff and I had a great time at the conference on Saturday.
Party.
Good.
Not really, but
No?
I think it just sort of like my fundamental inability to function in a social setting, which is I went with it was like, I'm going to sit at the table during lunch and talk to people. and there was 6 people, and me sitting there like this, where everyone else was talking, and I was like, all right, I'm just back in high school again, eating alone, and
You found your group. But you
no.
had Jeff.
I think the one takeaway.
You guys both silent?
No, well, I was like, I don't want
You were sitting at the table. I don't know how the story.
I
went.
wanted to spread us apart so that we could
You sure they didn't know?
not homeschool. I think the one thing that I didn't get enough info out of, but just that we really need to think about having a natural resource index, which is the one thing that we're statutorily required to maintain. And listening to this presentation, I was just under the assumption that it just encompassed town properties, but it is the entire town boundaries, natural resources, and it seemed like an extremely heavy lift. And so if, I think,
There was a study.
Yeah, there was one done.
I forget her name. She did it as a master's
Yeah.
project
It was
a number
like
of years back. She did an excellent job.
6, 7 years ago?
Oh, it was probably at least that, wouldn't you say?
Was it for Upper Saco Valley or was it
No.
just for the town?
I'm embarrassed I can't remember her name because I've worked with her on those stuff and then.
well, it needs to be incorporated more into so that I can find it. 'Cause
Well, there, yeah, I'll bring my folder.
I think it may be online. Well, I'll look and see if I can't find it. It's on-
But also, it's something that needs to be updated.
Yeah.
And it's usually in larger towns updated in conjunction with the master plan, because there is a natural resources section in the master plan. So as part of our,
If you're fully sure that just formed again, let us know.
well,
Since
I think
last
it has more of identifying
Well, what you have is
New
like
fund.
fishing game.
properties that are.
Well, yeah, and Fishing Game updates periodically their wildlife plans, which prioritize areas that have higher wildlife value than others and so on and so forth. And you know, if you're gonna do a resource inventory like this, you'd wanna overlay those, you wanna try to overlay where your zoning is to see whether the zoning is threatening the highest priority areas ecologically, understanding you have the underlying problem, landowners' rights and that sort of stuff, but.
Well, and also using that document to sort of drive our discussion about the Lions property and
Yeah.
like what do we have
Because
there?
what's the schedule of the master plan? That's coming.
That's coming out next.
Yeah, I would say, let's make sure that we integrate in the master plan, that that's a component that should be done as part of it.
Mhm.
Can you send us all a copy of that?
If I can find it.
Data, if you find it, that'd be good.
Yeah, and it was Upper Saco who did that
They did something.
because,
Upper Saco just did a inventory of the Saco River corridor.
no, they did it Jackson.
They had us on here for some
Yeah,
sort
we
of,
did it Jackson.
That was the one, when they were here that time. That was for identifying lands for protection.
Mhm.
I thought. I think this is different. I think I have.
It is, but it's an overlay of, I mean,
There's
there's
a lot of overlap.
It's a component, like you
all
said,
there's like
it's a
7 or 8
component.
different overlays on
Yeah.
that for
Mhm. So the GIS.
farmland,
And that's why
forest.
this particular product, it is just made up of all these other.
Yeah, just taking
There
out
are a lot of
overlays.
resources that need to
Yeah.
get compiled into it. So I think the last time we mentioned it, it's like, oh well, all of these things exist in different places and
Yeah.
forms, but I think
But you
Yeah.
got somebody do a GIS, you know, that, was it geographical information, where they do all the overlay, all the layers, like you're saying.
Well, you can download from Granite, which is the state data system, like the New Hampshire Fish and Games wildlife
Yeah.
ranking systems and so on and so forth. And, but let me see if I can find this, but I think the answer to your original question is this should be requested as part of the master plan update. That's where it should come from and that's where it belongs because that plan should be driven in part by the natural resources inventory.
so I think that was
Very good. Good thing
One-
you went to the meeting.
one takeaway. I mean, that is despite of what happened. It was I don't know if it was technical issue on the presenter's part that he had to quickly pivot because he couldn't pull up what he wanted to present, and so he kind of opened the floor up, and it was like, well, if I wanted to talk to a room of people who didn't know what they wanted, could have stayed home. Because it was a room of people who wanted to know about this thing, and then they all were just talking about their experience with it, of it being complicated and confusing, and I was like, I'm already there. We have not resolved anything, but
And typically as an overlay, like your soils, your wetlands, your wildlife habitat,
Yeah.
and so forth.
yeah.
And your recreational things like wildcat falls.
Yeah, I don't think I have that folder still.
Yeah, and I think all of the things, like, you know, a lot of the work that, you know, it's
It
made
may
up
be
of
summarized.
forestry plans and, you know, our management plans for all of our areas, like, we folded into that, so I think it's all part and parcel of what we're doing here, so.
That's really important.
Was it Whitley Frost?
Yes, I think you're correct.
Was it really Whitley?
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
I think it is.
When you said it was
got a
part of
degree in
her
cartography.
master's
Yeah.
Yeah.
thesis.
She did get her master's in cartography.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
One of her
And
reports in our.
you can go to Ann
yeah.
and just say, maybe there's a copy or,
Mhm.
I think there may be one even online. Let me double check on that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I can
But you are correct, it was Whitney.
Good call, Dick.
Do you have anything to add about that? Did you learn about map and compass?
Yes. Map and Compass was a good forestry in the Granite State and landowner outreach.
Yeah. I learned a little bit about the general court website for tracking legislative change and process, and I'm like, well, we don't really do a lot of that, but if we were to want to do that, since COVID, they've really made it easy for people to participate in the public comment process without having to go to Concord, so.
Yeah, actually, like, there's some pretty serious and bad legislation that went through this last session. Like, towns may be on the hook to pay for, if somebody wants to develop on a Class 6 road, the towns may be on the hook to upgrade the roads, etc. There's some pretty crappy stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
and it's
As
all
much as
in
they're-
the name of housing,
Yeah,
you know, to increase housing.
this is all about you know,
Wow.
there's a lot.
That changes the value
Well,
of someone's property just like
We,
that overnight, huh?
well, it's a little unclear how it's gonna, and it's gonna be challenged, that
Yeah.
there's no
But just
question.
imagine if it is, I mean, if you're the one who.
That's only one of
sold
many
it.
that went through. You know,
Where
it's
do you-
all about individual rights and town rights, but this legislative body is, I don't care whether it's what books you can read or whatever.
Yeah,
It's pretty tragic what the hell's happening in Concord right now.
yeah. The only other, I mean, I just happened to read, this was the zoning board thing, but I guess I was just surprised that, and maybe this happens all the time, we don't pick up on this, but there was currently in the zoning board, the complaint was that someone's property had been, I don't want to say washed out, but there's construction going on above the said property, and the landowner, homeowner below was affected by the way that, you know, an engineered plan was designed, but once again, it wasn't followed to the intent, and now someone downstream is being affected, which I think is what we started talking about
That's curious.
several months ago with,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, someone can design something, but with the weather patterns we have, and not everybody follows it. But it was just good to see that the town did get involved and did go up and check and say, oh, you didn't follow the plan, and maintain the system.
That's on the planning board.
It is.
Yeah.
So I was just surprised that doesn't come back to the Conservation Commission. It's something we wouldn't at least just read about, like properties being affected by
Well, I just,
runoff.
actually, if you get Jackson E-News,
Mm-hmm.
you can read the language in there,
Mm.
meaning that's,
And was that before the site plan disturbance
it's, yeah, it's
came
like a,
into effect?
3-minute read to figure out what's important or not.
Yeah,
So,
better
so
than-
we have access to that information. It's a question of, whether you read it or not.
I don't read emails.
It's
Yeah.
all
Apparently. I don't get it.
enforcement now.
It doesn't
It's
go in my
whether
current
the
email.
Selectmen have the will to enforce.
Right, well, that's kind of
That's where it's at now, is, like you said,
we've had
you
this,
can
like-
design anything.
right.
They had a great berm and rock dump and it,
Mhm,
which never got constructed.
mhm.
And they moved the culvert and
Yeah.
shot the water away from their project,
Right,
right down the hill.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's what I think we don't have the plans for all these things, but it doesn't take much to walk around and see like, there's no way that works.
Mhm.
Or whoever designed that wasn't
Right,
thinking about it.
It's been there, it's been like this for
Yeah.
what, 30 or 40 years
Yeah,
with no problem.
right.
And then all of a sudden,
It's
Oh, yeah.
getting more intensive.
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, it's really the selectmen.
All right, well, that's all I have for tonight.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting
And have a pizza party.
Is there a second?
without wasting
All in
any more
favor?
time.
All right. And our next meeting is going to be.
At the Shenandoah.
December
Oh,
first, yeah.
All right.
December 1st.
Well, my sister decided not, she was looking at that house across. There's something about that place.
So have fun in your tanner.
It's so big.
Give you, just like, it doesn't give you warm, fuzzy.
No, it's dark, it's down in a hollow.
Yeah, I mean, there's like wonderful things about it.
If you can get up in the field, in the field, just up the road.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
300 yards up the road, you know, sunshine.
Yeah, just like, I was glad she didn't
I like that.
pull the trigger out, to be honest.
Some
Well,
things-
you would have spent.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of cool projects that go
I found where it's.
You wanna live there?
Who was that through? Was it just?
Yes, everyone, but, I mean, I like, yes, because I like the location there.
It was just
Cross
like-
road.
Breakout session for the.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Oh,
jump
gotcha.
in and drive down Dundee every day.
Yeah.
Part of the day.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, Rick is already, he was our fourth.
I feel for
Or no, he was our research director at 10 Mountain for 4 or 5 years. And it's
Plus,
just
I'm
like
gonna
a
have
wealth of knowledge
vacate
about
the car.
mushrooms,
that's all I do. That's
lichens.
It's all electrical stuff and stuff.
He's just like, he's one of those people like, you like ask him
Collectors and,
pretty much anything about the natural world. And
Got
he's
it.
like, yeah. Oh, macro, he's my go-to for macroinvertebrates. So whenever I like find like a weird like damselfly or something,
Are you looking to get rid of stuff that's in
within
there,
like
or
a
are you
minute,
trying to put it
like
back
text
into your?
back, and he's like,
oh, I think
that's
the
just
Sulis
blah blah
wants
blah. Gives me the Latin name and like
no idea.
bandsaw, but I think.
the 5 quick facts.
But there's,
There's like a couple guys that
Power
Rick
to
did
it.
a whole
Yeah.
gave me about
yeah, I'm.
People that are just like,
Later
I don't know how he's I don't know this much about everything.
Yes.
Like I meet you and I see that you're like, you must have dedicated your life
Wow.
You
to
do things just.
like it until I hear you
Yeah,
talk
I don't do what I used to.
Stick out like right away.
I'm looking forward to not doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
Not to the point that I can't do
The
anything.
good thing about being
Started off as
I know
like-
more knowledge, so I can just make up anything I
Yeah.
want.
He's one of the, I don't,
Yeah.
I kind of heard
Oh, yeah.
a thing about not really mushrooms, but he's one of the people that
Well, Ben and that's what they were telling me the same thing.
No.
My mom's neighbors were saying.
Two
it's
hips,
really
two
bad down
knees,
there,
I've got
too.
3 pins in
So
my
just
left
basically,
foot.
everybody
Both
agreed.